Welcome to Learning Business Central with Infusion Solutions. If you're not familiar with Infusion Solutions, I'd like to tell you a little bit about us. My name is Jamie Choi. I am the Director of Consulting and Business Development here at Infusion. Infusion Solutions has been in the Microsoft channel for over 20 years, and we are located in Knoxville, Tennessee. We do have some remote workers, but most of our office is right here in person in Knoxville. We do specialize in creative solutions and integrations within the Microsoft stack. We love getting creative to solve problems using all the good tools that Microsoft gives us. We have customers located throughout the U.S. in a variety of industries, including distribution, not-for-profits, higher education, healthcare, and especially our wine and spirits industry, which represents a custom package that we have called the Infusion Solution. We offer consulting services and business process consulting. We do integration and Power Platform development, even for customers that are not on a Microsoft ERP. We support Dynamics GP as well as Business Central and are doing Business Central implementations currently. Again, my name is Jamie Choi, Director of Consulting and Business Development. I've been with Infusion for about 8 years. My background is in Treasury, AR, and accounting. And I did more accounting before moving into a software consulting role when I joined the Infusion team. I have 3 kids, and I was raised right here in the Knoxville area. One interesting fact about me related to where I was born and raised is that I am a passionate UT college football fan, and that is the real UT, University of Tennessee. Today, I'd like to just go over some functionality in Business Central with you and give you a little bit of a tour of what we have been working through. Today, we're going to talk about financial reporting inside of Business Central. I want to start where all good GL people will start, and that is in the chart of accounts. So in Business Central, you have a couple of options as far as navigation. First of all, you have tabs at the top here, menus that will show you based on area or module how to get to something. This is going to display, of course, based on your security setup in the system. So for financial and GL type stuff, I can click on my finance tab and you can see here's my chart of accounts and a lot of different options here. You also have the ability to pin some things, which I'll show you how to do a little bit later, so you can see that I've pinned the chart of accounts because that's something I want to be able to get to quickly. Lastly, and I think the most importantly, is that Business Central is super user-friendly on searching. So if you do the search at the top, you can do a contains. You can do, it's a begins with, it contains, part of words. So if I do chart of, if I spell chart right, chart of, you can see that the first thing that comes up is my chart of accounts list. So I'm going to click into that. And this is going to bring up my chart of accounts. Now you can see that it's a little bit narrow here. I want it to take up a little more room, so I'm going to show the wide layout view. I also have the option, as I said, to open this through a link here. This link defaults directly into that wider view so we can see what's going on. Good. So this is going to show me my full chart of accounts that I have set up in my test company here. And I just want to point out a few things about the chart because it is a little more dynamic than some other ERP systems in that the chart of accounts here really does show you some super valuable information, not just your account setup, but also some balance information. And it lets you make headings and groupings effectively so that you really can use this chart list as a trial balance, for quick review and research, that kind of thing. For example, you can see that I have my GL account number here, and I've created a couple of extra accounts. These aren't posting accounts. These aren't accounts that I'm going to be actually booking entries to, but they really help me group and organize my accounts within BC appropriately. So, for example, my assets account and my balance sheet, you can see that those are heading accounts, and so they are bolded because they're really just visually grouping up for me. If I look over in the account type, I can see that for balance sheet, that's my heading. And then assets is what's called a begin total. So begin total, and if I jump down here to the bottom for total assets, you can see end total. This allows us to, like I said, we can really use this as a trial balance. this allows us to do a quick sum to make sure that if I'm looking at this total assets line, it really is summing up all of the posting accounts that are in the range that I've defined. So you can see here that I've defined a range that we can add up. So that gives me a really quick shot at what my total assets are. Same for liabilities here, that I can see that heading. I can see total liabilities down here at the bottom. And then the same for the income statement. So I can see income and expense and COGS information all totaled up. And then, of course, some math done at the bottom for net income. So again, a really quick way for you to see immediately what's going on with your accounts. We do have the ability to do a lot of filtering within here. To do that, I'm going to go up to the top right here and click on my filter pane. So that's going to expand. I lose a little bit of screen real estate, but it lets me get a good expansion for searching and filtering. You can see that we have net change, we have balance information here. We have the ability to change what we're looking at. This is just kind of a no filter applied that is showing here. We do have the ability to filter totals by. So what that is doing is giving us options of how we want to filter these values that we see. So for example, I'm going to use a date filter. That's probably the most common for filtering totals. And let's say that I want to see my year-to-date information from the beginning of this year through the current month that I'm in. I have the ability to hard code dates. So if I have a quick search that I want to do, I can just quickly type in the date there. But I also can do some smart dates. So remember that Business Central is very friendly to smart dates. And you have the ability to really save some favorites like this. So if you're always looking for year-to-date through this current month, then you can save a view, which I'll show you how to do in just a minute. So I'm going to do that smart date here for the beginning of the year through the current month. And you can see that when I filter that down, that's going to change my net change to only show what's happened through this current month. The other options you have, so we have the filter totals by, we also have filter list by. I can choose to add filters here, and you can see we have a lot of options for what to add here. Let's say that I want to add my account or my income and balance. Let's say that I only want to see my income statement in this view. I can choose to filter that down, and you can see as soon as I click that, then you can see that the income statement stuff comes to the top. I still have my filter totals by. Now I might want to filter it down a little bit further. You can see that I have options to add additional filters, so you can really get that narrowed down to only what you care to see at the time. Now let's say that I wanted to save this. Let's say that I want to be able to come in and immediately see my year-to-date income statement information. I can do that here at the top of the filters. You can see the views. Right now I started with all, and you can see that there's a little asterisk indicating that I've made changes I haven't saved yet. I can click my Save As icon, and I can create year-to-date income statement. So I'm just creating a view here that's going to be saved with my filters. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to go back out to my main company page and just back into my chart of accounts. I'm going to use the pin at the top of my screen now, and you can see that when I come into the chart of accounts, I have two views. I have my all view, which is the default. That's no filters applied. And then I have my year-to-date income statement. As soon as I click on that, that's going to remember the filters that I use and allow me to get back there quickly without having to do a lot of gymnastics to get there. You also can see that it shows what's filtered on the column heading. So if you, let's say that I don't want to see this anymore because I want more screen real estate, I can hide that with the X here. And it's still going to show me what has been filtered. So that's really nice, so you can remember kind of what's filtered there. You also, if I don't want to expand my filter back, I have the ability to click into these headers, and I can either filter and set a filter here, which will expand this back, or I can say filter to this value, which will filter down to whatever line I've selected. So in this case, I had income account category selected. Well, that's going to filter down to all of the income lines. So a really quick way for you to do some analysis on your accounts. Now, as you're looking through these, if you want to dig in, let's say that we see this number for services income and I want to dig in, it really is just a quick hyperlink to get into those general ledger entries that make up that balance. You can see that I have a fact box here. that pops up automatically. So for these services, obviously we have some posted invoices going on here. If I click into these, you can see that these related GL entries are changing as I go, and you can see exactly what the other pieces of this entry were. So in this case, these are posted sales, so the other side is accounts receivable, and so you can see, kind of what has happened here on these posted invoices. If I don't want to see that fact box, then I can close that with my little I here. And that gives me a lot more information about the details of these as well. I can see, that these were to customers. I can see, the total amounts, posting group information, and then, of course, the journal entry information. So this gives me all that good information. And then if I'm done looking, it reminds me kind of where I am looking at my services income. And then when I'm done looking, I can go back. And then I can see my overall chart again. And let's say I've done some filtering and I just want to reset that. I can come back in here and click my year-to-date income statement. You can see that it's not saved here. And then you have the ability, if I wanted to save that further, then I can with my additional filters, or I can just go out of it without saving that. And it won't save once I exit my chart of accounts list. Good. So next I want to talk about looking into the accounts and kind of setting these accounts up for your financial reporting. So financial reporting is going to, for balance sheet and income statement, that type of reporting, is really going to lean heavily on the account categories and subcategories that are used as you set up your GL account. So that's going to be a really important structure to think about as you're laying out your chart of accounts in Business Central. I'm going to click just into this petty cash account. If I click on the account number, that's going to take me to the card. So earlier I clicked on the net change amount and it took me to GL entries. If I click on the hyperlink for the account number, it takes me to the account card. I can see all that good information about the account card. Quick reminder that in Business Central, there's a lot of auto saving, which is super helpful so that you don't forget to save, but also can get you. So just be careful as you're making edits. Just remember that as you're making those changes, they are auto saving if you change the name of the account or something like that. Good, so I can see here in the account number, I can see the name and all that good information about it. I can see the balance sheet that I've tagged this petty cash as balance sheet account. Based on my selections here, it's going to do a waterfall option to show me what type of categories and subcategories I have available to me. So because I have a balance sheet and I've chosen assets, then that's going to filter me down to the subcategories that are available for assets. So if I click into that, you can see that I have cash, AR, prepaid expense, and inventory. Those are my current, and then I have some fixed assets. So based on this account category I've chosen, I now get the option to put it in the right subcategory. This is really helpful because then what we can do when we're building your financial statements is say, okay, all of the cash line is going to roll into this one line on your balance sheet. That way, if you add extra accounts, maybe you open up a new checking account or something like that, then you can just tag that as cash. You don't have to make an edit to your balance sheet report writer. You just have to tag the account appropriately, and it's automatically going to roll into your financial statements where it needs to go. Next, we can tag it as a debit or credit for natural balance. That helps us, as always, with the financial reporting to make sure that we show the natural balance or flip signs as needed. And then the last thing that I want to review here is just that account type. So the account type, I've got this one listed as posting. You can see that this is where you could tag something if you wanted to make a header and kind of group your accounts. You can do headings, begin total, end total, that type of thing, and really define that totaling in the account card. Good. So now you can kind of see how we're going to set up our GL accounts for that financial reporting. Now I'm just going to navigate back out to my home page here, and I'm actually going to show you running a balance sheet and an income statement. We do have the ability in Business Central to build out reports. The reports I'm going to show you today are part of BC's canned functionality for financial reporting. For those who are coming from Dynamics GP, it does have a very management reporter feel to it. So that's really kind of familiar. It deals with rows and columns. We'll have some other training about actual report building. But that's good to remember. It's just that there is a lot of capability within Business Central to do these financial statements without necessarily having to buy a third-party product. Business Central also, I will note, is friendly to consolidated financials. So if you have multiple companies within the same environment, there's a lot of really cool things we can help you with on creating those consolidated financials, creating different ownership percentages and rolling over consolidations based on ownership percentage, and just a lot of flexibility there. So just a note. So first I'm going to run a balance sheet. I have in my general ledger setup, I have defined which reports are going to be my default. So I'm going to show you where I do that in general ledger setup here. And down in the reporting, you can see that financial report, I'm going to make this a little bigger here, financial report for balance sheet and for income statement and for cash flow. So I can set my defaults. That doesn't mean you can't have multiple versions, but this gives you that default version that when I say run the balance sheet, this is the version that it's going to run for us. I'm going to back out of that. You can see that I've tagged my balance sheet and income statement here, just like before. I have the ability to tag that. I also can search for it. So if I do balance sheet, and I want to show you how we get those tags to the top of our home page. So I'm going to do balance sheet here, and I can search for that. If I want to tag that, then this little bookmark icon is what I'm going to use to tag that onto my home page. So just a quick note there. Now this is kind of a common dialog window when you're running any kind of report out of BC. So it's going to show, your printer information handled by the browser. That just means your defaults. So it's really going for whoever I am, whoever's logged in on their computer, you're able to see the right defaults here. Next, it's going to show the report layout. Again, that's going to be a default from your setup, so no problems there. And then this is important. It uses the last options and filters. So that's really helpful because if you're running it for last month in and you've run it multiple times, you don't have to enter those dates every time. So for this example, I'm running it for this year through the end of last month. I don't have to run those every time. The other thing, last thing I want to show you on this dialog box is the GL budget. If you do use budgets in Business Central, then you do have the option, if we build a financial statement for you that compares your budget to actual, then you can choose which budget that you want to actually compare and do the print on your financial statement for. So there's a lot of cool things we can do there with budgets. Now, I have the option to send to. Send to is going to let me go to File, go to Excel, that type of thing. Print is going to, again, take my defaults as a user and print that out. And then Preview and Close is going to preview that to screen. So if you're just reviewing that and wanting to see that to screen, that's what I'm going to use today to generate this report. And you can see it just jumps that to screen for me. Now, from here, once I've got that, I can download that to a file and print it. So you can, from the preview, you can download it or print it. But a lot of us like to just see it on screen first before we start printing things. So this is what this will show. You can see here that it shows my descriptions. Again, this is rolling up accounts based on account category and subcategory, doing totals for me, showing me my total assets, liability. I'm in balance, yay. And this is going to show me everything that I've run for this period, kind of the defaults that I chose for my balance sheet. The income statement is very similar. You can see I've already got that pinned here. It's going to use the same type of report dialog, and it will also remember the same last options as with any of your financial statements. So if I change that for my balance sheet, it'll remember that for my income statement as well, because in theory, we're working for the same period here. Same options here with budgets for income statement as well. And for this one, I'll preview it. And you can see that that will pop that to screen, again, showing me my income and cost of goods and expenses if I had any, and then showing me my bottom line. This is a good example of how we have current period and year to date. We do have flexibility on adding, current period or the past 3 periods. We have some quarter, and just different timeline abilities within the financial statement. So just a note there that, again, there's a lot of flexibility on what we can present to you. If we do a budget, we can do percent to actual comparisons, percent to the year comparisons for the current period versus the year to date, that type of thing. So a lot of flexibility there with our financial reporting and inquiries within Business Central to show you and give you a good broad view and specific deliverables and reporting for your financials. Thank you so much for your time today to review some functionality in Business Central. If you have any questions or would like some additional follow-up or talk about next steps, please feel free to reach out to us. At the information here on my screen, you can send us an email, give us a call, or visit our website at infusion.com. Thank you.